education here in India. As of now, we are working at, we had developed a concept called global citizenship education. And as of now, I am in the implementation committee for implementing the concept of global citizenship education among the students around the country. So, briefly, that is the work I do. And with respect to entrepreneurship, I would like to say that I'm also a part of a project with, um, we have a ministry called Ministry of Small Scale Industries, and they have a project called Udyam project. Udyam is to promote entrepreneurship here in India. I'm a part of that project, and I am into designing of their entrepreneurship development program, which is designed to capacity build entrepreneurs here and who wish to take up the course and learn how to build up an enterprise. So that is a brief about my work. So I'll take you to my presentation. Okay, I'll share the screen.
Yeah.
Can you see my screen?
Yes, ma'am. I think, yeah, yeah.
You can see my presentation, right? Okay, so wherever there you cannot see, no, please do tell me. Okay, so so I'm starting. So you see, the topic of today that I chose to speak was frugal innovation and sustainable enterprise, building big with limited resources. See, as citizens of countries that are always trying to optimize the resources, we must also accept the fact that resources are scarce around the world. We cannot assume that very developed countries have abundant of resources. It is not like that. It's a big misconception. Resources around the world are always scarce. Therefore, whatever is to be created should be done in a manner that there is sustainability, and there is and we create something innovative that brings changes to our lives, and at the same time we optimize the resources that we have at our disposal. The concept of frugal innovation was brought out by two scholars, Navi Reju and Yasser Bhatti, who popularized the term frugal innovation, and they emphasize that it means doing more with less for more people. It focuses on reducing both input cost, that is the research and development cost and material cost, and the output cost, that is the affordability aspect, ensuring accessibility while promoting sustainability. So the thing is that this is what Nepal has done as a part of frugal innovation program. And I would also discuss a case study about how in India a total sector was given a totally new dimension by an innovation which was very frugally done. So it's pretty interesting. I hope all of you will get some important and interesting insights. So let's proceed. So you see, the dimensions of frugal innovation consists of: number one, simplification, that is eliminating the non-essential features. Number two is adaptability and scalability, that is designing solutions for varied contexts, something that can be used in different circumstances. And number three is affordability and quality, good quality at affordable cost, cost effective without compromising the functionality of the object that is designed. According to the Oxford model developed by Yasser Bhatti in 2011, frugal innovation operates along several key dimensions. At its foundation is affordability. So you see, the term frugality, you know, often is taken in a negative connotation, but that's not true. If you look at companies that have been there over the ages, you will find that frugality is a part of their ethos. Okay, I'll give you an example. In India, we have this company, the Tatas. Okay, the Tata Consultancy Services is one of the divisions of the Tata, which is a huge conglomerate. The company stands by this concept of frugality in anything that they do. Unnecessary things are never accepted and never promoted. So frugal innovation operates along several key dimensions. At its foundation, as I told you, are affordability and quality, ensuring solutions remain accessible without sacrificing functionality. The middle layer focuses on adaptability and scalability, allowing innovations to be tailored in different contexts and expanded as needed. And at the top remains the concept of simplification, the art of reducing complex things and focusing on the functionality aspect of anything that is innovated. I hope you all understood, students. Am I okay? The pace is fine.
Yes, ma'am.
You'll have to tell me a yes at times, okay, so that I know that I'm going at the right track. All right, so let's proceed. So uh, how it goes on is that they minimize resources, reduce the material and energy input, they reduce waste. Simplification of the processes leads to reduction in wastage. It promotes inclusivity. It makes essential goods affordable, and it enables communities, at the end of everything, the bottom line for any innovation is what it may impact it makes on the people, which we here in my presentation I'm referring to communities. Ultimately, it is the consumer who is the user of the product or the service that is designed, innovated, and it has to make a measurable impact on the lives of the community, and then only the innovation is regarded to be a fine one and an excellent one. Okay, so you see, let's talk about Nepal as a country and why frugal innovation is so important to the nation. Although, I have never been to Nepal, but I have seen a lot of pictures. It is beautiful. A lot of my friends have gone, and I do have a known for frugality. First, because the geographical challenges it has, it's a landlocked country with mountainous terrain, creating logistical hurdles for traditional developmental methods. Okay. Next is the infrastructural limitations. Fragile infrastructure networks require solutions that don't depend on extensive systems. And the third one is, we all agree, we also, the whatever I am telling for Nepal also applies to India. A lot of the things at lot of the terrains here in India. So you see, the natural disaster vulnerability, frequent earthquakes and floods necessitate resilient, adaptable innovations. Okay, now Nepal itself gives a wonderful case study of a lot of things that can be done to the country, by innovating processes and bringing about entrepreneurial activities, which, at the core of which there is the element of frugality. Okay, there are certain things the country is already doing, and I read a lot about these. uh, the best example, you'll find a lot of interesting cases here about the tuk-tuks. It's also, I think, called tuki, right? Is it called tuki?
Yeah, it's a tuk-tuk, yeah.
It's tuk-tuk, right?
Yeah.
So it is, in Nepal, the frugal entrepreneurs have developed low-cost electric rickshaws and modified tuk-tuks that address fuel dependency and urban population. These vehicles feature simplified mechanics and affordable batteries. Now you see this, to a large extent has been also adopted from you all. India, in India, many places have adopted this. Okay, the impact is reduced carbon emissions in urban areas, decreased dependency on imported fossil fuel, creation of new employment opportunities, and affordable transport. All of these things are possible with frugal innovation. So this is one of the fine example of a low cost innovation that has actually made mobility easier there. Next is the eco stove. Okay, it has used the local materials, the technology is very simple. It has reduced lesser indoor pollution and reduced fire root, particularly in the rural areas. So changing the dynamics of the ways in which cooking is done in the rural areas, eco stove is a wonderful model that is to be appreciated, and it aligns with the sustainable development goals to which each country is so committed to achieve. Okay, so then the next one is a community driven water purification system that has been developed using the local they gather clay, sand and charcoal from nearby sources. They create something, an object, something like this, which is popular in the villages. And interestingly, it's also popular in the village. I come from the state of Assam in India, where in the villages still, apart from all the mechanized things that have now developed, I have seen this kind of a system there as well. Okay, so the other one that in the present times with technology, there is a digital financial inclusion. You have the mobile platforms designed for basic phones with limited connectivity, ensuring accessibility even in remote areas. You have the agent networks. Local representatives provide cash in cash out services, bridging the digital and physical economies. And there is the user friendly authentication method that maintains security while accommodating varying literacy levels. So two of the fintech initiatives for which Nepal is really appreciated is the e-seva and IME pay. I think, sir, they are quite popular. Bharat sir,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
they
There
are.
is one more, like Khalti is also doing very good
Okay.
recently. But
Okay.
Ishiwa, yeah, it's very popular.
Very popular, particularly, and imagine the kind of impact it has on the community, particularly for the unbanked rural areas. So it's fantastic. By simplifying technology and focusing on basic financial needs, these platforms have enabled financial empowerment without requiring extensive infrastructural investment, demonstrating how frugal innovation can bridge the gap between the opportunity and a solution to a problem that exists. Okay, so now we come to a pretty interesting concept which is so popular in India, you must be aware of. We call it the Jugaad philosophy. From India, it has spread to the entire South Asian, countries, and it has found a place even in the West, wherein primarily works on resourcefulness, making the most of limited resources, improvisation, adopting solutions to immediate needs, and flexibility, willing to pivot and adjust, and ingenuity, finding unexpected solutions. So for pretty everything, even smallest of places, you will find that in India we say, let's do some jugaad and let's get it done. This do some jugaad and let's get it done is actually a philosophy now that is widely accepted. It is flexible, frugal and improvised approach to innovation, and it underpins many entrepreneurial efforts in Nepal as well as in India. As highlighted by Wharton's knowledge at Wharton Cast, Jugaad fosters an attitude of resilience, creativity, and problem solving in resource constrained environments, turning adversity into opportunity. In India, we have in recent times so many companies that have come up with startup ecosystems. The startup ecosystem is like booming like anything. Every second person has an idea, and they go ahead, they start a company, and then try to launch it. Although, let me also tell you that the success rate of startup is not very high, but that has not stopped people from experimenting with their ideas and bringing them out as enterprises. Okay, so now let us go ahead with understanding this global parallel of Jugaad. Excuse me. See, when it comes to Jugaad, we primarily say that we do it here in India, but then on a close observation, we find that this effort to do things frugally and to find out quick solutions is there in other countries as well. So the Jugaad philosophy finds its roots parallels across the globe, each with its own cultural context, but similar underlying principles. Brazil has got Zeytinho, China has got Shenzhai, Kenya has got Jua Kali, and France has got System the. These approaches all share the common thread of resourceful innovation under situations of constraint. When things are going difficult, try to do something out of the box, find out a solution that gives a solution to the problem. Now these global manifestations demonstrate that frugal innovation is not limited to developing economies, but it represents a universal human capacity to create solutions with limited resources in this world, which we must agree that is resource constraint. Okay. So, class, I hope you all are with me. Raju, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Audible and understandable?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So, we proceed now. So, what are these input cost minimization things happen? There is practical experimentation over formal research. Okay, what actually happens in frugal innovation kind of situation? The finest example that I remember of olden times, all of you must have heard of a scientist called Marie Curie. You must have heard of her, right? So she brought out this radium, something that revolutionized the whole world. Okay, something that is the basis of x-ray and a lot of things. Okay, but do you know that the base compound, which was an industrial waste called pitchblende, was actually cooked in a shed by Marie Curie and her husband Pierre Curie, and not in a sophisticated laboratory. She did it there, for a long time. She cooked the pitch blend in the factory, in the in the shed that she was working with her husband in her house only. And then one fine day the radium was found, and the rest is history. So you see, the in case of frugal innovation, you don't need a lot of sophisticated things to come up with extraordinary things. So the second one is repurposed material, using existing resources in new ways, that is trying to recycle. These days here in India we are also promoting a lot on recycling materials, using we call it recycle and upcycle. Two concepts are very popular, and they are being used not only in the context of industry, they are also used in the context of fashion technology as well. So the third one is community co-creation, leveraging local knowledge and labor. So most of these frugal innovation are rooted to the local context. Okay, with the people who are in the local area and with the resources that are easily available in the local area. A key dimension of frugal innovation is the dramatic reduction of input costs. Rather than investing heavily in formal R&D processes, frugal innovators in Nepal often rely on practical experimentation and iterative development. This I can tell you is pretty. There is a very pretty interesting thing. There is an organization. I mean, it's a group called Diamonds at the Sole of the Feet, which is based out of South Africa, but it is trying to promote. Science in the make science as a popular thing among the communities which are not very developed. Now in that, there are, in that group that I am also there, we have people from Nepal. So they say that in the context of the country, there are people trying to find ways and means, not only in the urban areas, in the rural areas where the terrain is high, the way they carry things, in every way possible they are trying. So what these people who are involved in this project from Nepal, what they are trying to do is in the community level, they are trying to popularize science among the children, the students in the school level, so that they take up science as a subject, because they feel that somewhere down the line, hardcore R&D will be enabled if science is taken up in the as a subject of preference. Okay, so let's proceed. Now, what happens when you have this frugal mindset, while doing entrepreneurship? This is a broad-based research output that I found, that 60% reduction in cost. There is typical saving compared to conventional solutions. There is 3 times market reach because the product is affordable. Affordability is by far the biggest, price element that we say in marketing. Also, we often say that, price, the moment you are able to play with the price, you reach the masses. Therefore, when my innovation is frugally designed, I am able to give it to the community at an affordable cost. Okay, so then the next one is, there is 40% maintenance savings, lower lifetime cost through simplified design. So frugal innovation focuses intensely on output, cost efficiency, ensuring that final product and services are affordable for target users. This affordability isn't achieved through quality reduction, but through clever design choices. And therefore, nowadays, there's another concept about which I'm not talking right now. It is the concept of design thinking. Okay, for innovation these days, companies, researchers, experts are telling that we should they're teaching us actually how to think. Earlier we were having critical thinking and other methods of thinking, but then now they are telling, go ahead while designing innovative things by doing design thinking. Okay, so this is I have already covered scalability and adaptability also. Now, I would like to straight take you to a case study of eco-friendly brick production, wherein which is also quite popular. I found out that traditional method, conventional brick kilns in Nepal are major sources of air pollution. Therefore, they are moving to this. Modern entrepreneurs have developed modified kiln designed to reduce fuel consumption by 30% while cutting emissions. Okay, we all as entrepreneurs and as students of entrepreneur or of MBA, when you take up a job with a company, also, you should be thinking from the mindset of an entrepreneur. Okay, you may be an employee of an organization, but what you will be doing, what decisions you will be making, will take the enterprise up. And you never know, some of you who are here today may become big entrepreneurs there or anywhere in the world. So, uh, now, I come to this interesting case that I had brought for you all from India. It is about the company called Air Deccan. I told you in the beginning that I'll be talking about a case of a company that totally, I wouldn't say disrupted, changed the way a total industry was functioning. See, when I was a child, when I was small, uh, air travel was a very costly thing to be. Okay, and it was for the elite people only. So uh, you know when years went by, if we had one airline, we had the Air India. Then it was one man who visualized that the same aviation process can be done in a manner frugally to reduce the cost and to make it affordable for the uh, general public. So what happened is, in the early 2000s, Air Deccan revolutionized Indian aviation through frugal innovation. They made air travel accessible to millions who had never flown before. Okay, so when we used to travel as kids in the plane, we would get a lot of food, we would get a lot of accessories and things like that. Okay, so what Captain Gopinath, the founder of Air Deccan, did was, he cut down all these costs which were ancillary and only additional things with air travel. Okay, there was no food, nothing, and water you had to ask for when you got up in air Deccan. So what Captain Gopinath's vision was that he uh, earlier, I'll just give you an idea about the landscape. Earlier, elite air travelers were there, less than 1% of population could travel. Middle class were rail travelers, but they were aspiring, they had a desire to air travel. Okay, little bit reduction of cost would have made these rail travelers as air travelers. Mass market, ground transportation, majority of Indian travelers were ground transporters. So full service carriers like Air India and Jet Airways dominated. Tickets cost more than a month's salary for many Indians. Flying remained a luxury few could afford. Okay, so this was the condition of Indian aviation industry pre 2003. Then what happened? Captain Gopinath came. Something about this man. He was a retired army captain with experience in helicopter operations. He had a disciplined approach to business challenges. He understood logistics in difficult environments. He founded Deccan Aviation, a helicopter charter company. Charter company means you could take a helicopter on rent. He saw opportunity in underserved markets, willing to challenge established business models. The visionary mission was, I want every Indian to fly at least once in their lifetime. This was actually the mission that he set out to accomplish. Believed in democratizing air travel, and he aimed to connect underserved destinations. Okay, then how it started. Okay, founded with minimal capital compared to traditional airlines, it started operations in August 2003. One leased 48-seater ATR turboprop. Okay, smaller aircraft allowed service to regional airports with shorter durations. Okay, so very small investment was there, fraction of what traditional airlines required, focused spending on essential operations only. So the low cost carrier model was like this: no frills service, no complimentary food, pay for preferred seating, minimal in-flight amenities, single class seating. There was no business class and something like that. Everybody was in the same. Maximum seat density, standardized experience, and simplified operations. Point to point routes, no complex connections. He reduced ground time and higher aircraft utilization. Okay, so this was how he was able to reduce the cost of air travel by a phenomenal amount. Okay, this is how frugal pricing started. Starting fare, revolutionary low price point, 30% price difference lower than full service airlines. 15% of those people who took up air Deccan were first time flyers. Percentage of people who had never flown before. Average competitor fare was 9,999. Just imagine the difference between the pricing of air Deccan and the competitors. So whole country went into a revolution in terms of air travel. Okay, so what he did was innovative cost cutting measures were outsourcing. Ground handling was outsourced, maintenance and catering was outsourced, workforce was lean, small workforce was there, 30% fewer staff per aircraft than competitors, high utilization, 11.5 hours daily aircraft use versus the industry was going by 8.5 hours. Okay, so Air Deccan pioneered multitasking roles among staff. Pilots helped with boarding, flight attendants cleaned cabins between flights, and this reduced the personnel cost significantly. So, this was the method model that he used for reducing the cost. Raju, are you listening? And the other students?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
We are.
ma'am.
Okay, all right. Now, gradually it expanded the reach. So it started online booking. First Indian airline with comprehensive e-ticketing was Air Deccan, reduced the distribution cost by 20%. Paperless tickets were there, SMS confirmations instead of printed tickets, saved rupees 15 per passenger in printing costs. Inventory management was real time seat availability tracking, optimized pricing based on demand patterns. And then they had other distribution methods, like it partnered with 5,000 plus retail outlets, reached customers without internet access. So, this is how it expanded the market by leveraging technology of the time. Okay, the growth was rapid, it was just fantastic growth, and market penetration was also huge. The impact on Indian aviation industry because of this was it democratized air travel, made flying accessible to middle class Indians, connected tier 2 and tier 3 cities to major metros. Domestic air traffic grew 50% within 3 years, created a new market and segments previously untapped, forced competitors to adopt. The other companies also adopted his model, and then we saw a lot of other new companies coming into the aviation sector. Established airlines launched their own low cost subsidiaries. Industry wide ticket prices decreased by 20%. Okay, so frugal marketing techniques were famous. Simplify campaign caught public attention. So, in terms of marketing of Deccan Airways, they used this term simplify, which caught the people's attention. Rupee one ticket promotions created massive publicity without large ad spend. There were times when they were giving at 1 rupee, you can grab the ticket. Okay, word of mouth. First time flyers shared their experiences widely, created organic viral marketing effect across social groups. Brand identity, memorable yellow and blue livery with flying common man logo, connected brand with Indian middle class aspirations. Okay. So, however, gradually when it was doing business, it faced some challenges. Challenges where many smaller airports lacked the proper facilities, night landing capabilities were absent at regional airports, limited terminal capacity caused delays, complex approval processes led to slowed expansion, and the competition was growing by the day. Then a lot of turnaround operational efficiency innovations were also created by the company, like reduced turnaround time, you know 25 minute average versus industry 45 minutes. Optimize the route selection, focus on underserved high demand routes. Fuel optimization, direct routes and weight management helped in reducing the fuel cost. Also efficient ground handling, streamlined processes with minimal equipment. Okay, so lessons are a lot. uh, the legacy of the company is huge. Other players came into market. You see Indigo, SpiceJet, Go Air, Air Asia. The whole country became flooded with alternatives that came up as competitors to Air Deccan. But then what happened eventually, due to mounting losses, the company was acquired by Kingfisher, and then Kingfisher also became bankrupt, and the Air Deccan brand is no longer flying in India. Okay, so key takeaways from this model of innovation done by Mr. Gopinath is that understand the local market needs. If you want to become an entrepreneur, do research on the local market, balance frugality with sustainability, and continuous innovation of the business model that you work with. Okay, so this is there are other innovations that are coming these days in India. We have a lot of innovations happening. Branding is done, lot of pitch deck, we call it in startup language, pitch deck. Even my students are continuously doing innovation, and they are bringing out some app or something like that, and they are participating in pitch decks to have their idea get funded. Okay, So these are however some things that we have to be cautious about. We have to be careful while frugally innovating about taking good care of the quality of the product. No product will sustain if it does not give the required quality to the customer. Scaling barriers, do not scale up, just, you know, go big and scale it up. Like, in recent times in India, we have had a case study of a company that brought out, that faced a lot of troubles in spite of being a unicorn. In startup language, we call a unicorn a company that hits 1 billion. This company's name is Byju's. It was pretty successful, pretty popular, but then it started scaling itself up so fast that it was not able to sustain, and now it is facing a lot of legal issues, a lot of challenges in the market. And the last thing that is to be remembered is the concept of intellectual property. While innovating, be mindful of the fact that do not copy anybody else's work. Intellectual property rights are pretty much guarded by every entrepreneur, and even if you become an entrepreneur, please take all the necessary IP legal provisions to safeguard, patent your idea and keep them in a way that nobody else copies your ideas. Okay, so here I would like to stop sharing my screen, and I would like to engage in a discussion with my students. Um
Yeah, sure, sure, ma'am. Thank you so much.
yes, sir.
Yeah, it's time to have some questions.
Yes, I would like to answer
Yeah,
questions and also to talk.
yeah. Thank you very much. No, it's
I
really,
hope it was okay.
yeah, it's
Like, it was so
really,
fast.
really insightful, and a lot of new concepts that you have, the explained very nicely, and which are very, very important for the MBA students to understand. So let's take some questions. Like,
Yes, please.
please,
Sorry.
please unmute yourself and ask question, or you can use the hand raise.
But I must say, sir, I must really appreciate your students. Today is a holiday, it's a voting day, I got to know.
Yeah.
In spite of that, you said, and the students came. I mean, hats off to your connect
No,
with the student, and
we
hats.
have really good students.
I am,
Now
I
let's see how they raise question, whether they raise question or not. That is important, and it's really we are really thankful to Professor Didi Pathak,
am. Namaskar.
and who made all the efforts like to get you connected with our students for coordinating this entire program.
Thank you so much,
Thank
Pathak sir.
you, thank you,
My
Pathak sir.
pleasure. Yes.
Now, please, it's your turn, students. Now, if you have any question, please.
So, ma'am,
Yes,
can I ask
Kusum.
a question?
Please.
So, what type of industries are most benefited from the frugal innovation and in promoting the sustainability?
Yeah, in frugal innovation, if I observe, if I give you India context, no, I can tell you that the tech industry, tech enabled innovation is because, see, you don't need so many resources, factory and all that to do, come up with something and launch it in the internet. No.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
frugal innovation is, you'll see all around. In my college only, I have 4 5 students who have made their own apps, and those apps are actually making some interesting, doing interesting things in a way which there is no other alternative. Now they are looking for some lawyer to first file the patent and then to launch it. So all around you will find that tech enabled companies and tech enabled innovation is the fastest, easiest frugal innovation around us.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Kusum.
Yeah.
Maybe they are finance students, that is why.
Yeah.
but
Most of them are finance students.
but the atma, I say, no, soul of